picking the best coins for the altcoin season, which is inevitable, is a very difficult task. But in today's show, we're going to do our best to have a look at some of the stronger performing coins and which ones would be worth allocating into a longer term portfolio. We're also going to have a look at the recent price action around Bitcoin, given the massive week that we had with a big green candle, and how the weekly looks to close. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, because I am streaming at an irregular time right now. This is not usually when I would go live on a Saturday morning, but I thought, why not? Let's have a look at the market since there is some major changes. So please do me the massive favor of smashing the like button to help the algorithm know that we are live, and to share this with the rest of the community. So let's get going. First and foremost, looking at Bitcoin over here. Of course, so far it's a very, very good looking candle, a nice green candle up to just below $67,000, which give or take on a lower time frame is a resistance level. But if that level is able to hold and we're able to close above this green zone over here, that was really our pivot point where we said if Bitcoin closes above $65,000, it will be pretty significant and we can look for continuation higher. And we'd expect that the next week's candle should lead to expansion. So even if next week, if we start the week off with a red candle and we start to come towards the downside, my expectation would be that we should fill that candle all the way up, and hopefully we could potentially even break those prior highs, which would start to look really, really good. At the end of the day, we spoke a lot about the volume within the market, and you could see how that volume ultimately was coming down over here. And we said that if you do start to see a green candle pick up on Bitcoin over here, while still on relatively low volume, well, that would be a very, very good sign of a major reversal, right? So the market starting to go back towards the upside once again, and that the probability would be very, very significant as well that the major low is in, right? And we're going to have continuation high, and that candle should hold. So far, that is looking to be the case with that 21 exponential moving average, which has been holding, or the exponential moving average holding a support all the way up. We also have Bitcoin within a massive range. So the pink zones over here is your range high, that's your mid range, and this is your range low, and price ultimately oscillating between those levels. Once we reclaim that range low level at $30,000, there was no denying it that from that moment onwards, it was full bull. And now we're breaking out of the top side over here, which suggests that you could have expansion. Now, if you do get expansion towards the upside, it is inevitable that the market will start to realize that the upside potential and gains for Bitcoin are diminishing. If you look at that and you have a move from here up to the $100,000 region, you're looking at about another 50% upside move. Now, the market will start to process and understand that they want higher returns, and it's not really risk to reward worth holding a Bitcoin long anymore. And that's where they're going to start to move into altcoins, and you get the inevitable altcoin season. We're not yet at that phase, but we could very well be closer than what we previously were. So if we look at Bitcoin over here, speaking of fair value, where are we within the cycle? How much further could we potentially go up? Where could you possibly find a top within the cycle? I'm more interested usually in timing, in the sense of where the timing could be for a market cycle top. Could it be 6 months from now, a year from now, 18 months from now? If you focus on those timing phases, you're usually much better positioned to exit the market, in a rational way without getting too hyped up. It's when you start to focus on the pricing levels that things get really, really hyped, and ultimately you end up getting wrecked. But nevertheless, this is probably one of the best bets that you can take when looking at pricing wise, the actual price targets of where price could go. Because if you look at the upper bounds, the lower bounds, and the fair value bounds using this logarithmic regression band, this gives you a very conservative target of where Bitcoin could go. Now, every single cycle we have peaked above the upper band. So if we were to zoom in over there and we said, well, let's assume that we do exactly the same thing and we at least just tag that upper band, well, that would give you an upper band price right now of $107,000 on Bitcoin, assuming it's going to, of course, take some time to get there, and maybe it happens later on in the year. give or take, you could potentially push up to about $120,000 on the upper bound. Now, again, this is just historical data, and it's definitely not indicative that this will 100% be a future result. But again, if you're using the history and how it rhymes and you do clear that upper band, then $120,000 Bitcoin is a conservative estimate that's still in the realm of possibilities. So upside potential will start to diminish on Bitcoin, where you're looking at from current price levels to that $120,000 zone, maybe about give or take 100% move. We know that altcoins have been underperforming Bitcoin for the entirety of the cycle, barring a select few like the likes of Solana and Render. But for the most part, people are going to be looking to allocate into those altcoins and play a little bit of a catch up. So we'll have a look at some of those altcoins. The meme coins are obviously also one of the exceptions, having been top performers, but not necessarily that will continue. As the cycle progresses, they might start to look to the utility tokens, the likes of Phantom, for example, which is starting to move. We also have Rune over here, which is fundamentally strong and one of the coins that we've been allocating into. We have, of course, Solana, which has been one of our biggest positions. We have Ondo from Real World Assets, which has been performing relatively well. Jupiter, IMX starting to peek its head out over here as a gainer. And then, of course, Chainlink virtually integrated into almost every single project out there in terms of an Oracle solution. So we're going to have a look at a whole lot. I've created a list of potential coins which could do really, really well. We have to look at the fully diluted valuations as well to determine how much upside potential could there actually be when some of these coins are already as high up as $10 to $20 billion market caps, which is huge, right? So anyways, let's continue with a very quick analysis over here. We've seen a reset over here in the volatility. So the BBWP, which is the Bollinger Band width percentile, shows you how far apart or how close together the Bollinger Bands are. Usually as they squeeze in towards each other, this bottom line over here will trend back towards the 0 to 10 mark. And that's where you get a recontraction, which allows for reaccumulation, right? Or if it's a bearish situation, it would be redistribution. And then because this is direction neutral, right? The expansion of this moving towards the upside just tells you that a big move is coming. And you can see that over here, right? If you look at Bitcoin over here, it contracted into these regions. Price was relatively flat at about $25,000. And as it expanded, price expanded towards the upside. It doesn't necessarily mean that every expansion will be with a price move towards the upside, which is why it's so important to understand the overall trend, which we have identified remains towards the upside. And therefore, the bias is bullish, right? So you're seeing it on the super guppy indicator here as well. The recontraction of those bands over here suggests that price is preparing for the next big move. And here's an example of what happened the prior time. The recontraction of that BBWP squeezing in over here led to a big expansive move towards the upside. So with that being said, last week in the live shows, we spoke about having 3 candle closes above the 50-day moving average, the 50-day moving average being this red one over here. And we have now officially got that. He has 1, he has 2, and he has the 3rd one. And now we're opening the 4th candle above that level, which means that the bias is bullish, right? Ultimately, it's more probable than not that bulls are taking control. The probability remains in their favor, and it's up to them to step up. So we'll see how the weekly candle closes, and this lines up with, again, looking at that weekly time frame, why I said that the expectation would be that next week, even if you do see price come down slightly, it probably just ends up being a wick, and the week ends up in the green, which means that now is the most opportune time to start to look for positions to get in on some of those altcoins. So if you want those, smash the like button, guys. If you want those, smash the like button. We're up to just around 2,000 live viewers, but it really helps to get the show content out there, get the algorithm going. So please smash the like button, and then let's continue. I want to make it a relatively quick show. So we have, of course, been range bound in the shorter term. There you go. You can see the clear range. You had the swing failure pattern. You broke back inside of the range. And that suggests that you're now targeting the top side of the range, which means you want to see price move up to that $74,000 region. We have price above all the levels that matter over here, in the sense that you can see price is above your pivot level. It's above the 200 EMA on both the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. And I like that the 1 hour 200 EMA is trending above the 4 hour. That shows you that you could potentially get a sustainable move. And now on top of that, you have the 9 and the 18 exponential moving average crossing back towards the upside. So we spoke about any pullbacks into the $63,000 region become buying opportunities, but as price action unfolds, these things change, right? The levels change, the scenarios change. So the change is starting to take place in the sense that now we actually don't want to see price come back to that $63,000 level. We want to consider this over here, which happened where it wicked down to 64,588. We want to see that level hold as a low, and we want to see immediate continuation and a reclaim above 67,500, which is your mid-range level. Now, the range is pretty clear set in terms of looking at the liquidity on high block capital, where you have liquidity on the top side, liquidity on the bottom side, and prices bouncing between the two. Now, usually when you trade these ranges, it's just a question of which level will get tagged first, and it's just a matter of time before price trends into one of those. So far, I'm expecting that more likely than not, we're going to move into the the $75,000 region, which is that liquidity zone. You can see over here, when you look at the CVD, we're still waiting for the spot buyers to come back into the market. They obviously still remain a little bit hesitant with this recent move, and they're not quite sold yet. As for the leverage traders, they've already started to bid price action. So you do have a minor divergence over here with spot still coming down, leverage going up, and you now have the open interest starting to tick back up. We've had a negative funding on those lows, which I've warned you before is a very telltale sign of what's happening within the market. When you have low volume within the market, negative funding, while still in a macro uptrend, that becomes a screaming buy signal, which is exactly what occurred over here. So all in all, it's looking very, very good for continuation. The funding has been completely reset, which to me shows you it's one of the best times to start to open up leverage long positions, which is why we opened up this position on Rune. Currently, we are up 18.45%, which is a $10,000 profit over here on the trade that we opened up. We've taken this trade twice. Once we took it a little bit further down here. We then closed it for slight profit, and then we reopened it on this candle over here, which was great timing because the following candles were immediate expansion towards the upside. I'm trying to give this one the benefit of the doubt of holding it a little bit longer. Once you do print a candle like that, so this is on Bybit, once you do print a massive candle like that, the first thing that you should be focusing on is always the inefficiency, right? And the inefficiency will often get refilled, creating a bit of a fair value gap into that zone. And as you can see, price did revisit into that area, and as soon as it did, it started to move back towards the top side. So that inefficiency is the fair value gap. We've now filled that liquidity, and we're looking for Rune, this is the position that we're in, to continue moving towards the upside. So with that being said, if you do want to take these trades with me, for those of you who've known me for a long time, you'll remember that we had many positions open. At one point, we had 42 trades open. 97% of them were in profit. Some of them were up as high as 45,000%. That was our WIF trade, our WIF long trade that we scaled up to 45,000% profit. Others were fundamentally strong coins like Render. We had some Arweave. We had Near. Those positions were up 5, 6, 7,000%. Many positions up in the thousands. Now the aim is to do the same thing all over again. We closed those positions obviously in anticipation of a boring sideways lull market that was going to flush out all of the leverage players. And in hindsight, that was an absolutely fantastic idea. So now we're looking to rebuild all of those positions again. If you do want to follow along, there's a link in the description below over there to Bybit. Sign up to Bybit, grab yourself a Bybit account. By doing that as well, by the way, and you deposit $100, you'll get your share of $100 for free, right? They'll deposit $100 into your account. You need to trade $500, right? So how do you do that? Well, you put $100, you go through here, you go into the derivatives account. So it should be deposited into your perpetual account. All you have to do is open up one trade on 5x leverage using $100 of margin, and automatically you will get yourself $100. When do you get the $100? Well, it will be at the end of this campaign, right? At the end of the 13 days, they'll deposit the $100. So if you've already done it and you don't see the $100, just be patient. It's still coming. And you'll also get airdropped your share of 15 million GUMMY tokens. So again, use the link in the description below, sign up, and let's continue. So this was the rationale or thinking behind the Rune trade. Very, very quickly, just an overview for some of the audience who maybe don't watch me on the regular in the week. We took the trade over here with the stochastic RSIs crossing back up. We said the break above the previous week's high will be very, very significant. And now I'll tell you, if you see a weekly close over here, that will be even more significant for continuation higher. At the very minimum, we're looking to play this up to the previous month's high, which brings it to a price level of $8.70. So ultimately, that's the trade, right? That's the trade setup over here. We had a conservative stop loss all the way down here at $5.97. We can start to elevate that at this point if you're in this trade and you do want to bring your stops into break even or even raise them into slight profit. Feel free to do so. I have bigger plans to scale this trade up much more. So I'm going to remain patient and give it some room. If it comes down lower once again, I'll reallocate more capital and build an even bigger position. But I'm really liking the possibility over here of this becoming the next high low, right? So high low one, next high low. Once you break above those highs, again, I'm expecting rapid expansion on Rune towards the upside. And this is one of my picks that I've put into the altcoin mix. So we'll get into that in a bit. I do have a spreadsheet over here of coins that we'll go through, but that is one of the ones that I'm looking at. Total 3, we're also looking to break into the yellow zone over here, which would be a strong sign. A little bit of a consolidation into that area between 675 billion up to about let's just round it up and say up to about 800 billion. A consolidation within those zones over there will lead to the eventual breakout, will take us up to the target of 1.25 trillion, which is looking good. You can see one of our biggest positions, Solana against ETH, continues to outperform, right? Continues to outperform Ethereum, moving up with high highs and high lows, and that is looking good. Bitcoin dominance still pushing up over there. We have the Bitcoin, if you look at the cumulative liquidation deltas between the longs and the shorts, the market's definitely stacking more on the long side, but it's not completely out of whack yet. It's about a 1-to-4 ratio. For every one short, you have 4 longs. Let's have a look quickly at Rune, since that is an actual trade that we're in. And then we'll get into some of those other portfolio mixes in just a moment. How's Rune doing? So ironically, Rune is about, for every one short, there is 2 longs, which is also not very skewed. If I started to see this trending up towards about 8, 9, 10 longs to 1 short, that's where I'll start to get a little bit nervous and start to take profit, or at least elevate some of those stop losses up into the profit zone. So also, very quick note, we spoke about 𝗕𝗔𝗥 last week. I told you that I'd be doing a giveaway to those of you who did actually sign up. So remember, use the link in the description below. What is 𝗕𝗔𝗥? 𝗕𝗔𝗥 allows you to swap cross-chain into multiple different tokens, right? So you can choose, firstly, select the chain, right? What chain are you trading on? Are you trading on Ethereum, Avalanche, Base? Where do you have your capital? Any of these chains, I've selected ETH. I then selected Ethereum because I actually have some Ethereum over there. And what we said we were going to do is we're going to send some Solana. So I've picked from the list of those of you who already signed up, and I'll be sending Solana through to you. So let's do it now. We will do another giveaway, right? There'll be another giveaway over here. I'm going to give away 2 Solana. So this is ultimately how it works. You're sending now, understand what's happening over here. You're sending from Ethereum on ETH chain. It could be USDT. It could be anything that's on the ETH chain, and you can send it into whatever coin you want on the other chain, right? So in this instance, I'm sending ETH from the ETH chain into Sol on the Solana chain. If I wanted, I could swap that, right? I could send you 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗙𝗙, I could send you 𝗕𝗘𝗣𝗥, I could send you 𝗔𝗘𝗥, render, any of those things. But in this instance, let's go with Sol, right? So there's the address. If this is your address, congratulations. Let's see. Let's confirm the trade. So while we wait for the trade to be confirmed, let's just quickly approve it over here. Okay. Remember, by doing this as well, you're getting points, right? By doing this, you're actually getting points. And what that means is they'll do an airdrop. So 𝗕𝗓𝗕 will actually do an airdrop. And each transaction that you make gets you points. So if you do want to qualify for that airdrop, again, use the link in the description below. There it is. It's this one over here. $1 million in GUMMY airdrop will also be given to the 𝗕𝗓𝗕 users. So you're not only getting their airdrop, but you're also getting an airdrop from GUMMY. Plus, I'm going to be doing Sol giveaways on the regular, right? So use the 𝗕𝗓𝗕 link, use that exact link. If you don't use that link, then ultimately you're not going to get the GUMMY airdrop. You're not going to qualify for the 𝗕𝗓𝗕 airdrop. And also I can't do the giveaway because that's where I have to pull the list from. So it's very important that you actually use that link. Okay, let's see. How's this doing? Did it go through? Okay, we're done. We're done. It's through. So congratulations to 6G FK and the last digits XJR. Well done, well done, well done. You got yourself some 2 Solana over there. So, okay, I'll do the next one on Monday. So you guys have the whole weekend. Sign up. Watch the show on Monday. I'm going to be pulling from that list. I'll do another giveaway. We'll do 2 Solana again. Maybe I'll pick a few of you and do a couple. Okay, let's look through some of these coins. So one of the top picks, TON. But we spoke about this over here, saying be careful of a complacency bounce. I'm not saying that's necessarily happening. So far, TON's been relatively strong, but it is pulling back over here. Where's your next level of support? Well, the obvious zone over here is going to be $5.40, right? $5.40 needs to hold. Failure to hold 540 means that you probably are going to revisit all the way back down into the $3 zone. So I'm just going to very quickly go through the list. The other pick that I had over here, I'll reveal the list at the end of the coins that I was looking at. The other pick over here, we spoke about it. We said looking for a long into this zone over here at the 1270 support. We got that on Chainlink. Big move up towards the top side. Chainlink does need to get above the breakdown level over here at 1750. But Chainlink pretty much integrated in almost every single project out there, providing Oracle solutions and price feed data. It's one of the the only things that does what it does. There aren't too many other competitors other than, like, for example, Pith and a few other smaller ones, really smaller ones that not really worth mentioning, but it's a winner-take-all market, right? Chainlink is ultimately dominating everything. Okay, the other one that we looked at is SUI, which is right in the zone now for potential trade. Of course, longs would be from here with stop losses below those previous candle closes, and you're looking for a big move up to about 145, break and hold above 145, and you can move up to $2. But you have to be careful with your longer term picks, how you're going to place them, because you need to understand the market cap and the fully diluted valuation of some of these coins. So first I'll go through some of the coins, and then after that we can actually look into those fully diluted valuations. And depending on how much capital you have at hand, it's up to you where you actually want to allocate, right? The lower the fully diluted valuation, of course, the higher the upside potential. But with that being said, the higher the risk. So SUI has got a very high fully diluted valuation, and it's a pretty new coin. So you have to ask yourself, in order to get a 20x on this, what market cap would this have to get to, and then relate that to other coins that are in that same category, right? So it would probably have to get, to get a substantial gain over here, it probably needs to move into the top 5, which is going to be very difficult, right? Very, very difficult for SUI to suddenly move into the top 5. But nevertheless, it doesn't mean that you can't trade it. We've spoken about Solana a whole lot. This has been one of the top picks. Beautiful, breaking above this 160 zone over here. It has the potential to move up here to 205 in the very short term, break and hold above that, and then eventually we expect targeting up towards those all-time highs. If you look over here at Casper is also breaking above the key level. That is a strong area of support which we want to see hold. You're breaking the downsloping trend line, so maybe that is the high low in the making, and we're looking at continuation onwards and upwards. Remember the W formation, which is very, very common in finding major bottoms within markets. You'll be looking for something like that, right? Ultimately, a double bottom and straight continuation onwards and upwards. As soon as you break above that neckline, it's go time, which Casper is getting very, very close to. Okay, other coins that I have over here in terms of picks, the other one that I put on was Stacks, right? Stacks is one of the coins that I'm looking at. It's just a higher beta play to what you're seeing with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin moves up, Stacks moves up quicker. When Bitcoin moves down, Stacks moves down quicker. It's a layer 2 for Bitcoin, right? So allowing other projects to build on Bitcoin. So looking at it to reclaim this level over here, ultimately, this is still marginally, bulls are marginally holding on over here, but any lower, this is going to start to get very, very sketchy. I do want to see a reclaim over here and flip this into support, and then we can see continuation, right? We have some of the top picks over here is going to be Mantra, right? Mantra, beautiful uptrend, continuing to hold that level. The strongest one so far in the real world assets is definitely Ondo. So if Ondo is any inclination of what's coming next, hopefully Mantra follows suit, because that is one of our longer term holds. It's one of our positions holding higher highs and high lows of there. So we are seeing price moves towards the upside. As for meme coins, I'm thinking that, meme coins, the better bets right now. I think I like to think further ahead. I'm looking more at the, the political meme coins, right? Like MAGA Trump. So we're looking at the ticker's MAGA, the coin's called Trump. We're looking at a pullback into the zone. There's no guarantee that you're going to get something like that. But if you do, if you get a pullback into 3150, the last 4 digits, that will be a strong buy zone in my personal opinion. We're also looking at coins over here like Bowden, right? There you have Bowden sitting at a $291 million market cap. Keep in mind, if this, the bull run, the height of the bull run is probably going to lead into the elections, right? Into, let's say, the 3rd or the 4th quarter, we're going to have a lot of hype within the market. It's going to lead into the elections. You've got these political meme coins, which are now starting to create a lot of videos in the same way that we're seeing with, for example, 𝗬𝗑, right? So if we go to Twitter over here and we quickly go to 𝗬𝗑, there we go. We can go to 𝗬𝗑. Then you can see a lot of them are starting to jump onto this bandwagon, right? Where ultimately they're creating videos. So educational videos. This one was over here with Gary Gensler and the supposed hacker who hacked. What did they hack again? This was pump.fun. They hacked pump.fun. Go watch this video. Then this is actually BitBoy. Guys, just go watch a video. It's a long story. It's a long story. But Bowden is one of those picks over there. Trump is another pick, right? Now, what's interesting to me is Bowden is a $292 million market cap. When you look at Trump, this is at sub $100 million market cap at $96 million. And I think that the voting is going to go more in favor of Trump. We've already seen with some of the votes that have been coming in as they're doing their rounds that so far Trump is marginally winning. So I expect the gap to close within the market in exactly the same way. The other one that we're looking at over here is Pepe coin, right? I'm going to give you the list in a moment, so just remain patient. We spoke about hitting the fair value gap over there. We pretty much bought the exact bottom over there, looked at the bottoming formation candle. We said the next candle was a buy, stop loss below, start to scale into the position. You broke the downsloping trend line, and now it's starting to move towards the upside. Tying in with that, we have Based AI, which is also one of the top picks. So these are coins that have potential to move into the billions, right? And they're only trading in the $100 million zone, right? So there's a lot more opportunity for 10x in something like this than in, for example, SUI. Like SUI's got a high market cap. We'll pull up the list in a moment, and I'll show you that market cap list. DGen, right? DGen is, we've labeled it as a layer 3. What is a layer 3? Well, it's a layer 2 built on another layer 2, which is base chain. Base chain is built on ETH, right? So ETH is the layer 1. Base chain is, of course, Brian Armstrong's chain for Coinbase. That is a layer 2 built on Ethereum. And then you have this built on top of base chain, which I guess, I don't know what you call it, a layer 2 on a layer 2, or is it a layer 3? But this is one of the bets. This is one of the bets that I have at only $243 million market cap. And if you really want to go real degen, real risk on, what you can do is you can obviously start to look at the meme coins that are listed on the degen chain. That is something that we allocated into. I haven't actually reviewed those positions for quite some time. I'd imagine, given the recent downtrend over here, that they probably got pretty heavily knocked. But that's why we only scaled the small amounts in, and we'll keep scaling in. So the downsloping trend line has officially been broken. You're breaking back above the support level over here at 17. Failure to hold that level would mean that, well, this could potentially come all the way down to 0.0054. So let's quickly reveal some of the list. Now, I'm not completely sold on everything on this list, right? But nevertheless, I'm just going to show you the coins that I've been looking at. Phantom, right? $2.6 billion valuation. Here you have SUI at $10.8 billion, right? So to get a 10x on SUI, you need to see SUI move up to $10.8 billion. So if we bring up CoinGecko and we have a look over here, this is more video to help you to think about how to look at these things, right? Look at the market caps, right? Let's just see, where's that? There should be somewhere where I can tick to turn on the fully diluted valuations. Is it here? Is it here? Where am I missing it? Here it is. Okay, so put the FDV on because you actually want to have a look at that. Okay, so the FDV of, you need to get, SUI needs to catch up to Solana, basically. So ask yourself, is SUI going to catch up to Solana in this cycle in order to get a 10x? That's what would have to happen, right? Because that $10.8 billion valuation. Phantom, how much catching up can Phantom do? So Phantom, probably a better bet than SUI, right? Phantom at 2.6 billion. They've made major upgrades in recent times, and you are starting to see that in the price chart, right? You're starting to see some pretty substantial moves over here on Phantom. The catch up may have already begun. But I know there's a lot of influencers that, I don't know, they receive some sort of an OTC. So it's something that I want you, the audience, to be careful of. There might be a lot of shilling going on around Phantom because of that. Full disclosure, I got absolutely nothing. I don't have any of this OTC, but I'm here to look out for you guys as well, right? So we have to look at the charts to keep ourselves honest. You hit the support level, you're moving up into mid-range. Theoretically, this is resistance. If Phantom can, of course, break above this level, then you're looking at a move up to 120. Expect that there will be a little bit of ranging over here, which is why I'd encourage you not to necessarily chase price up here. But if you can gain an entry as a short-term trader and you know what you're doing, great. Just understand, I don't want you as a spot investor, a long-term investor, to just suddenly buy in over here when you could potentially reject and come all the way back down. But ultimately, I do think eventually Phantom does break above this 124 level. And once it holds that, that's going to start to open up a big move towards the upside. So that's one of them. We have Solana. We've already spoken about it. I'm long Solana right now, but I'm treating it more as my safer term play. So I usually, what I would do is I place a lot of bets on lower cap things that might be considered more risky, and I manage the risk so as not to experience much drawdown, right? So if it's a loser and it doesn't get moving quickly, I'll cut the position. Then the ones that are big winners, where you've seen in Whale Room, we've hit it multiple times with coins that we've done 100x, 300x, and even some of them 1,000x returns, right? So those Whale Room calls that did those numbers, those we rotate the profits and we move them into the fundamentally sound coins, the likes of Solana, right? Which, yes, it's a higher market cap, but we know that it's giving us better upside potential than both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But it's got pretty much equal risk in the sense that it's pretty safe, right? It's pretty safe to be holding in there, at least for now. Subject to change, right? Don't ever quote me on anything forever, because new information changes things. Just like with Terra Luna, right? Things change very quickly. So don't quote me on that. But for the current time being, that I consider this a relatively safe, risk-adjusted bet, right? 𝗟𝗡𝗙, 3.1 billion. So could 𝗟𝗡𝗙 do some catching up over here with all of the new things that they've announced, essentially in its own blockchain? I think so, yes. I think that 𝗟𝗡𝗙 could get a 10x. TON, this is one to be careful of, right? Yes, they have a lot of users on TON, right, on Telegram, which they could ultimately bring into their ecosystem, and there is building that's being done there. But it is $32.9 billion mark, fully diluted valuation already. So are you going to get a 10x over there? Well, in order to get a 10x, let's go back here. If we look at the FDV, in order to get a 10x, we just said that is 32. So that means that it needs to catch up to pretty much Ethereum, right? These are things you need to look at. Casper, 2.8 billion. Is there a 10x from here? I personally believe there is. Render, 5.3 billion. Is there a 10x from here? I think that one's tough, maybe, but it's a stretch, right? IMX, 4.8 billion in the gaming ecosystem. I think it's also tough to push for a 10x, but crazier things have happened. A 5x probably. Stacks at 3.8 billion. Is there a 10x there if they get right what they're trying to? I think that one's a possibility. 𝗓𝗓 coin. Now remember, this is the original 𝗓𝗓 coin. If we go to the other 𝗓𝗓 coin, and let's have a look over here. Let's see where, here's the actual 𝗓𝗓 coin, the other one. This one has got a fully diluted valuation and a market cap right now because all of the tokens are in circulation at 4.3, let's round up, $4.3 billion, right? If you look at the OG real 𝗓𝗓 coin, the one that was originally created, I believe in 2013, $593 million market cap. So that is this one over here. Let's go to it. That is this one over here. 𝗓𝗓 coin over here. It's got a $606.73 million market cap. It hit that level. It's starting to move up over here. That is the contract address, right? So you can, of course, take a screenshot, zoom in, make sure that you're using the right one. Is there a catch-up trade? I do believe so. And if it just catches up, that alone puts it at 10x. Based AI at 175 million. It's not even in the billions yet. Could it get to the billions? I do think so. I think that Based AI's got a 10x from here within this bull run. So all the coins I'm trying to show you, I think have huge potential, right? Hitting the support zone over here and slowly starting to move up as attention comes back into AI and as the OG real 𝗓𝗓 coin begins to run. I believe these two will run together. 𝗓𝗓𝗙. Now, you look at the other meme coins and the hype that they've got, right? And look, there's no guarantee that 𝗓𝗓𝗙 will ever get to these levels, but you're talking about Shiba Inu, which I don't even know how it still has $14.7 billion in it, or $14.7 billion fully diluted valuation. Current market cap, 24, they got 24 billion. And then I think is that the highest one right now, other than Doge, right? Doge at 22 billion. So these are very, very small fish with huge potential. 𝗓𝗓𝗙 is a small fish with massive potential. GUMMY. The reason I put GUMMY there is purely because of you guys, the crypto banter audience, which are obviously ultimately it's a community that builds this, and you are one of the strongest communities. I actually would argue that crypto banter community is definitely the strongest community in crypto in the whole world. So GUMMY at 88 million, I think has some potential over there, especially with all the different staking, which is actually, by the way, it's active. I think there's a link in the description below here. I saw it before the show. Let me have a quick look over here. There you go. Meme staking is here. You go to memestaking.com and you can actually stake your GUMMY tokens. So you stake your GUMMY tokens, they'll disappear out your wallet. Once you've staked them, you will earn points, which you can get baked. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be more coins that are going to launch as well. And those initial stakers who stake now will probably be part of that snapshot too. This is pure speculation. I don't know, but I know how Run thinks and probably the things that he would like to do in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be more than just baked as an additional airdrop. And it's free money, free, easy money, right? 88 million. DGen, we just went over 694 million. Rune at 2.8 billion. You can see I'm long on Rune. I want to build a longer term position. We have Chainlink at 16.3 billion. When it's integrated in every other project and we look at the fully diluted valuation of the top 5, well, you can see the catch up that could happen over here. I think it's a pretty safe bet. I don't think it's a money maker, but I think it's a pretty safe bet if you want to move from the high risk positions into some of the low risk positions. Then the low risk things I would consider the likes of Chainlink, the likes of Solana, the likes of maybe I would want to throw in Casper over there. It depends what happens with their Rust move that I think they're currently busy with right now. We spoke about Boden, we spoke about Trem, and we spoke about Marga. So those are some of the coins that I'm looking at. I think we can pick this up later. It's not set in stone. So smash the like button if you appreciate that. Let me know in the comments if you want to know more about this. And then a big reminder, the bridge. Take advantage right now. Use the link in the description below. The airdrop for that will probably be massive. They're one of the best bridging platforms out there. I'll see all of you on the next one. Have a stellar weekend and cheers for now.